Hello everyone, I'm your Manoj Patike. Today we shall start another important and interesting topic, that is plant breeding. It's a very important branch of agriculture. With consideration with entomology, pathology, plant breeding has its own importance. In this topic we shall discuss it with keenly in detailed sense. We shall analyze the subject. First, we shall discuss the basics of the plant breeding, or what are the terminologies required, the basic information like definition, objectives. In this class, we shall deal with it. In the later classes, we shall see the mechanisms of plant breeding, and in the later days, in the further classes, we shall see what is the application of the plant breeding. Then we shall end it. It's a long process. You keep on following me for the continuous videos and continuous classes. Do follow that, because it helps you a lot to face the competitive exams, to analyze the subject for the semester exams and all. Let's enter into the topic, that is plant breeding. Before entering, I will give what is the meaning of breeding. Breeding in the sense, using a parents of one generation. You will use the parents of one generation and you induce the crossing. You induce the crossing between them. Thus, the resulting progeny, it might be something, it might be successful or failure, it might be hybrid, anything. But you will get a progeny, and using that progeny, you will continue its generations. So, and you preserve those samples or preserve those seeds or etc. Breeding in the main sense, it also deals with the animals also. There are breeds with the animals, various developments had been done, but the importance of breeding is mainly in plants, because we can breed easily. Crossing between them is, in comparison to animals, it is easy in plants. And the importance of the breeding or progeny obtained is also important in agriculture. Not in, because with breeding animals, only a dairy animals you can get a good yield or something. But in agriculture, it is very important to get a progeny with a high yield to feed the world, because the agriculturists will feed the entire world. So we should concentrate on feeding each and everyone in the world. So let's not waste the time. Let's get into it. Plant breeding. I said the definition of the breeding. Now we shall see with respect to plants. Plant breeding is an art. Yes. What is art? You might get a doubt. Art in the sense, you need some skills. Skill is also an art. The skills means to cross between the plants. There might be, you have to wait for some times, and you have to technically breed those. You have to technically cross them. The skill is required to that, and everyone can't do breeding easily, and even many scientists and professors only can't do the workers. The skilled labors are there. So breeding in the sense, you should be skilled enough to do that. So it includes an art, it includes a skill. So plant breeding is an art. Okay, it's a science. Yes, plant breeding is a science. It's a branch of science. It's a branch of agricultural science. The science includes the biological science, and even in further technical science also include. So it's also a science. Then it is also a technology. Yes, the genetic engineering or something is a biotechnological tools that are also helpful. You can get an idea about it when you listen about IBPGR. IBPGR is a very important institute where there are, with the technological skills, they save the germplasm of the plants, samples of the plants. So they involve the technologies. Even in the local, while breeding, you need some technological aspects for the breeding. So plant breeding is an art, is a science and technology of improving. What this should be done, the art, science and technology should be concentrated to improve something, that is the genetic makeup of plant. Why the genetic makeup of plant should be improved? Because without altering the genetic makeup, you can't get a high yield, or you can't get anything, because genes are the responsible for everything that is going on in an organism. I don't say in plants, in every organism genes are responsible, DNA are responsible. So we should improve the genetic makeup of the plant. Okay, later that what should be the main objective, that is in relation to economic importance. Why economic importance is important? Because without the economic sense, economy improves when you do something that is useful to many people. Like if you grow a crop, if you develop something and it should be used by many people, then it will be commercialized, then it will go to economic sense. Economic sense only requires which is required by the many people. So we should be have a main objective that the breeded crop or the progeny obtained or the mechanism of plant breeding, everything should be oriented to get the to improve the economy of economy of mankind. Thus, in a total conclusion, I say plant breeding is an art, is a science, is a technology of improving the genetic makeup of the plant that should be in relation to the economic importance to mankind. Okay friends, this is the definition of plant breeding. And in plant breeding we also say it is as a science of crop improvement. Crop improvement means you are improving the quality of the plant by the genetic makeup of the plant. So it's a science of crop improvement, and it is a man-induced evolution of plants, because in nature naturally the selections are done. You know about the theory of the natural selection, you know many theories that are proposed. But why we call plant breeding as a man-induced evolution means in natural evolution also the genetic makeup is improved, means the survival of the fittest, we can say. The fitness of the individual will be go on increasing, and the selection is go on increasing. So the progenies of high qualified or with a good quality of plant will also survive. Such things happen in plant breeding. In plants also we select such a plants with a good yield. That is what the nature does, we do in the artificial sense. Thus the evolution also takes place, because the genetic or the thing, or because in rice we know that before green revolution, in wheat and all, there were tall varieties and all, but now we had dwarf varieties. From green revolution to now we are still more advanced, means the quality of the genetic of the plant is still more advanced, still more improved. So this it's very simple to say, it's very simple to understand that it is a man-induced evolution of plants. Okay friends, now we got the definition of plant breeding. Now we shall continue with the topic that are, let's see, aims and objectives. It aims to improve the characteristics of plant that should be helpful in both agronomically and in economically. Agronomic and economic sense means, economy means I told you the yield should be high, it should be economically more feasible, it should be profitable. And agronomic means cultivable. In the field you should not get problem like there is some plants you feel difficult to harvest. For example, safflower, which was difficult in the previous years, now we have machineries to do it, but it's still harvest is difficult. So that is the agronomic problem. The plants you develop should help in both agronomically and economically. So that should be the aim of the plant breeding. And let's see one by one the objectives, what it might be. The first objective is high yield. It will be the number one in any time, because whatever you do or whatever agriculture is do, just feed the world. So we need more yield, more plant biomass to feed the world. So it should be aimed to get higher yield. How to get? Okay, higher yield means the number of panicles, number of flowers should be increased, and number of grains per panicle should be increased. For every plant there is a characteristics or the yield inducing some characteristics or the yield parameters we said. Yield parameters are there. Such parameters should be increased to get a higher yield. Okay, we got the higher yield now. Now we shall see. Next objective is improved quality. You are getting a biomass, but it should be of quality one. The feeding in the sense you should feed nutritious food. You should give the proteins and everything. So the quality matters. Okay, how the quality? The grain quality, the grain size or the nutrition or the contents in the grain should be high. Such a quality inducing parameters are there that should be high. Okay, next objective is abiotic resistance. I think you have heard about the abiotic stress. Means the environmental stress that induce temperature, photoperiod, or some stresses are induced. You should breed the plant such that they become abiotic resistant, like salt tolerance. Tolerance and resistance we speak in alternative form because it should be at least tolerable. If it is resistant, then it is completely free of abiotic stress. But you should breed at least it can be tolerant to a tolerable limit. And next important objective is biotic resistance. Biotic in the sense, in last class, next important objective is biotic resistance. Biotic resistance in the sense we speak about pathogens which induce diseases, weeds, insects. These are very important we say, and they mainly cause many losses in the agriculture. So our breeding objective should be importantly concentrated on to get a resistance over such a biotic component of the environment. Okay, next important objective is maturity duration. Maturity duration means we mainly speak about early maturing varieties because we mainly concentrate on early maturing, which reduces the number of period plants stayed in the plot. Thus you reduce the many parameters like plant protection chemicals or the field management practices. Such things will be reduced. So you should be concentrated to get early maturing varieties, but not in the all plants. There might be some situations where you should get the late maturing varieties. So we should concentrate on, depending on the crop, the maturity duration should be altered. That should be one of the objectives of the plant breeding. Next is determinate growth. Determinate growth means we should not allow plants like to grow like a vine. We should limit to some extent so that it can its lateral forms are in the plants. We always try to reduce the height because it induces the lateral branches. If it induces the more lateral branch, then it will give more flowers and more buds, so that you can get more flowers and more yield also. So you should also concentrate on determinate growth, especially in the plants like some pulses, and in cotton we know monopodial branch, sympodial branches. So determinate growth matters there. Next important objective is dormancy. We mainly speak about dormancy is because in only few crops like pulses like green gram, black gram, in those what happens is before the harvest itself, within the plants, if the rain enters just before the harvest, then they absorb the moisture and they get germinated. So that harms the yield and it harms the plants. So the dormancy should be induced in such plants so that they don't germinate before the harvest, or when they saved also before the harvest, or when they are in storage sense also. It should not be germinated. So the dormancy should be increased in such few plants. Next objective is desirable agronomic character. I said in the beginning, yield inducing character or high yielding characters, such parameters, yield inducing parameters. So agronomical character is like increasing the number of branches, or some agronomic characters are there that helps you to manage the things. So this is also one of the important objective. And another important objective is elimination of toxins. Yes, it's one of the big problem in few plants, because the crop is good, the yield is good, but in between that we have some content of toxin that harms or it's very dangerous for humans, like neurotoxin in kesar. In kesari there is a neurotoxin which should be concentrated to reduce such things. So we should concentrate on the elimination, not reduction, elimination of toxins here. Okay friends, next objective is non-shattering character. Non-shattering character. Shattering means you might have seen in the pulse crops that before the harvest itself or before only few plants will be matured enough and those will fall off on the field and there will be losses. So the shatteringness, that is we call as shatteringness, that shatteringness should not be, that's not favorable. So we should be concentrated on non-shattering characters. We should introduce non-shattering characters, especially in pulses. Next objective is synchronous maturity. Synchronous maturity means in the field, if you get yield that some part of field you get in early days, and means in various parts of the field you get in various times the yield you get. So it's not favorable. If you get the yield and it's not favorable in the economic point of view also, if you get the yield, it should be synchronous. If the mature, then everything should be matured, or every plant should be matured, so that it will be very helpful for the harvest also and for further post-processing activities also. So synchronous maturity is also very important, and breeders should have that objective. With respect to plants, every objective we speak in plants varies in various plants. So it should be concentrated with respect to that plant or the plant we use. Next is, it is very important friends, because in the green revolution this was also very helpful, that is thermo and photo insensitivity. It is very important because if it is photo insensitive, then there is no short day plants, there is no long day plants, it's completely insensitive, you can grow anytime. Like many plants we can say, like even sunflower, you can grow any period of the year. So that is very good character for an agriculturist. And thermo insensitivity also, the variations due to temperature will also be reduced. So if it is favorable, if it can be done, we should concentrate on thermo and photo insensitivity. Next, wider adaptability. Wider adaptability means if a plant is grown or if a variety is grown in my field or in my area in South India, if it is grown in North India also, then it has a wider adaptability, means it can be grown in any part of the country. It is very helpful because there is no need for the North Indians to again breed and develop a new variety. If it is favorable and if it done good there, then they can directly adopt it. So wider adaptability should also be an important character. And last objective is, or we can't say, there are still many objectives, and among our list, this one is the last I have mentioned, that is varieties for new season. Dear friends, we know some plants are grown only in particular seasons, like if it is in Kharif, Rabi or summer, some plants are grown in a particular season. We should extend its activity. That is, if a Rabi crop, which was a Rabi crop, if you can grow in summer also, or if you can grow in Kharif also, that will be very helpful. So you should develop such a variety that it can do good in other seasons also. So it's also one of the important objectives. Okay friends, we have seen important objectives. Now we shall see what are the undesirable effects of plant breeding. In the undesirable effects, first we see the reduction in diversity. In the first, I said that it's a man-induced evolution, but man is a most selfish person. He always wants one thing. If he wants, he will be not satisfied. Thus, we always concentrate on uniform plants or in the same plant so that we can get more yield. If one plant is good, we don't think about diversified or diversifications. We just concentrate on that yield only. If something happens to it, we are not responsible. Everything goes, and we have seen many cases like that. So the reduction in diversity occurs due to plant breeding. It should not be done. It's also a responsibility of a breeder to concentrate on the diversity also. We should not destroy the diversity. We should just work to feed the world, not to destroy the nature. Then everything surrounds a single important concept only, the narrow genetic base. Means due to concentrating on the only uniform plants, there is low genetic base, means less adaptability of plants. It could not extend too much, means if a plant has some capacity also, but it could not to extend some other areas also. So narrow genetic base is not favorable. It should be wider adaptability, or many characters are there that depends on the genetic base. And another is danger of uniformity. Yes, these are also dangers. And danger of uniformity means, if every let's think in your agriculture plot, if everything is the same plant and of a same variety, you don't get some other varieties or some other wild species only. If something happens to your field, what happens? You lose the plant, you lose the crop, you lose the varieties, and you lose the diversified or the wild varieties also. You don't have anything. So that is the danger of uniformity. Uniformity is required, but not the danger sense. So undesirable combinations. While breeding, without knowing, there is undesirable combinations obtained there. Or someone have concentrated on such things also, like pomato or Rofana brassica. These are some plants which are of not desirable character, but they were developed, and so that's also an undesirable effect of plant breeding. And yes, in the beginning I said that some varieties are such that there will be a solution to a problem in initial days, but later days what happens is those solutions will become another problem, like the increase in the susceptibility of, like increase the susceptibility of to minor diseases and pests. In pathology also we speak that in the initial days some disease will be a minor, like in some plants, I think in bacterial blight of pomegranate, the release of Kesar or Bagua variety led to the great epidemic situation. So it's also an example. Some varieties will increase the susceptibility of plants. So it's also undesirable character. And thus, friends, we end this class. We end this introductory class. In the next class, we shall enter the topic. We shall enter the some applied basics, means like domestications or plant introduction. Let's speak about it, and how the activities of plant breeding are done. Let's work on it. Thanks for watching the video, and please stay tuned to get next video and learn the things. It's time to be intellectual.